Phil, I headed here today thinking, let's hope it's not after the Lord Mayor's show after Hereford, where you were so good. And I'm afraid it was, really, wasn't it?
But I've often thought about that, the Lord Mayor's show. What was the Lord Mayor's show? And there was a good performance, there's no doubt about it, at Hereford, and I've made reference to it in my team appraisal after the game. But it was a good December, it was a good November. It was retribution, if you want to call it that, for the 4-0 defeat at Kings Lynn, which the players have to take a lot of credit for. The way they turned things around, having been more or less destroyed that night. And yes, I've looked at the league, and not the league table, the league itself, and the way people tend to turn results around, and there's quite a few shock results, if truth be known, right the way through the season. That'll probably be up there with the best, I should imagine. But that's because people start believing that they're top of the league or they're second top of the league, and you're playing against somebody that's 20 places below you or whatever. So you've got a divine right to win the game. Football's got an amazing ability and a habit of kicking you right in the proverbials, So after the great performance, or the Lord Mayor's show at Hereford, I would have said yes. It was back down to earth with a bump. But that bump wasn't a pretty bump, It was one of them where we knew that they would come with a certain style of football and a certain way of playing defensively against us, and then try and hit us on the counter attack with certain qualities that they've got. But again, everything about it, if you were arguing against the budget, say for instance, and the difference between the two teams, or you arguing against the quality of the players that they've got compared to the quality of players that we've got, or arguing against the fact that they were in a lower division and we were in a higher division, all of them things really don't matter. A game of football is all about your mentality and your attitude, and I think we've showed in a couple of months that we've had a great attitude after Kings Lynn. But again, it's another learning curve for me as an individual that's now managing a group of players that you always think you know every one of them and how they'll behave in certain situations. And I would have said the squad's as strong as it's ever been at the football club since I've been here. But again, we couldn't unlock the door, and the door was firmly shut in my face, but we had chances, we had chances to win the game. But that first goal for Rushall really gave them that spirit to hang on to something, And I suppose they deserved the luck in the end, because they put their bodies on the line and tried to nullify our quality, and to a certain extent they did.
I suppose had Amari Morgan's shot gone in rather than hitting the post in the first half, different game. And the key thing then was, we thought in commentary, was that you sprang the offside trap 2 or 3 times there and really looked like you were going to get in behind them. Yeah,
we had worked at, if you want to call it third man running or ball going in, laid back and then going in behind. We'd worked at a bit of that. We'd worked at a lot of things with regards to how we've been playing, but confidence is a key factor in every game of football, So when Amari had the chance, and I'm not blaming the captain here by any stretch of the imagination, he puts that away. We sprung the offside trap. I think we nearly sprung it on a couple of occasions before that, and then all of a sudden we looked like we're getting behind for fun, as it were. But when Amari hit the post, I really turned to Macca and thought that's a key moment. And that's not somebody that's full of doom and gloom by any stretch of the imagination, but it was just a key moment. It was 15, 16 minutes on the clock, whatever it was. And you think, if you score that goal, they've now got to change their game plan to a certain extent, or ride the luck for the next hour and try and make it a 15, 20 minute game at the end. But the ball didn't go in the back of the net. We addressed a certain situation that was cropping up by a little change of formation and a little change of personnel that made a change in the second half and made us a little bit more balanced on the left hand side, as opposed to Cam Candela having to play forced passes with his left foot, which is not his strongest foot. So there's certain things that we tried in the second half, but when that goal went in, it was almost slow motion. It was I thought nobody will beat Dibs from that distance with that power or lack of power in the shot, and it goes in the bottom corner, and I thought, ooh, maybe not our day today.
It's interesting, you put Reece Devine on in the second half and you started getting crosses in then, and you looked a different side. I thought you looked much more dangerous then.
Reece, as I've said in the interview before the game, we were talking about Reece Devine signing a new contract. I don't know whether he's a left back, a left wing back, or a left winger, but he covers all them places down the side. But the balance of putting Keller Bridges back to centre back, again, Keller becomes a centre back, but he also becomes a full back and a wing back. So I think the potency of the side and the balance of the team, more importantly, became a lot more complementary towards the way we played in that latter stage of the game. But again, when you get a little bit uptight and you're getting excited and you're getting, the fact that we're chasing the game now, you tend to put a little bit more distance on your pass or height on your pass, and you lack that little bit of quality that actually won us the game at Hereford. The quality wins you the game in the end. If you've just got the presence of mind to stay with the moment and stay with the pass, you've got a better chance of creating good chances in the latter stages. Having said that, we did. We created 2 or 3 great chances, and to a man, woman, child, you're in the stadium waiting for the ball to go in the back of the net, and it didn't.
Change of competition now this coming weekend. You're back to the FA Trophy. Slough coming here, so you've got home advantage again.
Yes, you would class, strangely enough, when I first arrived at Agbra, it wasn't a home advantage. It was a bit of a place for people to come and put a marker down and people enjoy themselves, and 1 or 2 of the supporters were not too complimentary of the way we were at home. But I think you've got to say it, this season in the league, having won I think 7 out of 10 or 11 games at Agbra, that's normally a good return in any way, shape or form, in any division. I think it has been a fortress, but people might be looking at this game and saying this is the way to play against them, and if it is, then we've got to find a way, and that's what's just been muted in the change room. We've got to find a way in tight games, as good teams do. So we can't class ourselves as a good team at this moment in time. We might be a good footballing side, but we can't class ourselves as a good team if we don't find a way in tight games like today.
I suppose final point on today's game, the biggest frustration, presumably you had so much possession. I don't know what the stats were, but you overwhelmingly had the most possession and realistically didn't do that much with it.
I think, we can stand here and argue all day long about possession. Possession doesn't win you a game of football. It points you in the right direction about the style or the quality of the play. If you look at Man City's turnaround in fate, as in they've gone down the pan, they've had plenty of possession, just couldn't do anything with it. And then they have a game against Leicester City where they lose in terms of the possession battle, 56-44. And I would have thought that would never be the case, Leicester against Man City, but they lost the possession battle, but they won the game. So we have to understand what possession is all about. I think we played safe football today. I think we played the safe pass. I think if I had been out there, I would have been going backwards rather than forwards, because everybody was readily coming back to a centre half because it was an easy pass. I want players at this football club to express themselves in the final third. If it comes off, you become a hero. If it doesn't come off, you might be sitting beside me. But in the main, so far this season, the likes of Hemo, Amari Morgan-Smith, Maz Kuya, Topi Abideo, even Malik Cardigan, there's quite a few that it's come off for them in the final third, and they've kept their shirt. That's what I want the front three to do.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Just a final thought, just going into Saturday, a change of competition, as Trev said, and I guess just from a momentum point of view, it might act as a bit of a reset, mightn't it, I guess, after today?
Yeah, there's certainly an opportunity. At this moment in time, we're sitting in a good position in the league, so there's an opportunity to get promoted. There's an opportunity in a cup game to get to Wembley. It's a good time at the moment, and I'm not trying to be false there, or trying to bull things up or make things look bright or better, having been just beaten by Rushall Olympic 1-0. I'm actually factually making a statement saying that we're in a good position, we're in a good place. If you had given me this at Christmas, I would have probably took it. Bring on January, bring on February, bring on the second half of the season, bring on 2025, because at the end of the day, I still say we're a decent side, and I think we've got good enough players at this football club to be successful this year.